Now what's this gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burning G. All by his bread. Bitch, I'm all up by my bread.
Welcome back to your favorite channel. It's your boy PBK9s giving it to you the way I always do. Fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some gonna like it, some ain't. Appreciate all the folk that's down in the chat, everybody that's tuning in. Big shout out and big salute to all the dog lovers and pet lovers across the world. You know, just got a little bit of this talk. We're gonna talk a little bit of bloodlines today, and we're gonna speak on some dog talk that need to be spoke on. You know, first thing I want to say, we're gonna get into that yellow stuff because I want to speak on that. Me and brother AQ Henry spoke on it last night on the live, and City Boy and a lot of the brothers down in the chat, we was commenting about it last night in the live. So I'm gonna speak about it today as well. You know, uh, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about are we staying consistent to the look? Are we staying consistent to the Big John? Like I said, look, because a brother was speaking about looks and stuff. Okay, now, first thing I want to say when it comes to looks, many of y'all haven't even seen, or many of y'all can't tell me what a yellow dog look like. What a yellow dog look like. See, a lot of y'all, when you say look and you talking about the yellow dogs, y'all only thinking about Mayday and what a Mayday dog looks like. The rest of the dogs off yellow don't look like Mayday. You know, and you got to understand, Mayday resembles yellow. Yellow don't resemble Mayday. So when we got yellow dogs, they're not gonna look like your average Mayday dog. And a lot of brothers already know what you thinking. Oh, these dogs don't look like this, or they don't. Because when brothers say they don't look like a Big John dog, but you never seen a Big John dog, and this is no credit to no dissing or no anything to no brother. But if you gotta be able to say you seen dogs to say they don't look like them. You know, when I say they don't look like them, I'm saying Red Boy Jocko dogs, bred Red Boy Jocko top and bottom, don't throw no Rottweiler color dogs. That's what I'm saying. Look, I'm talking about the actual color, not talking about no structure, no head size, no none of that. The actual color of the dog. So right now we're gonna look at Big John offspring, and we just gonna stroll through. You see, Big John was the brown and black. You know, now I guess because y'all always say the Mayday, had the hound dog. He was the hound dog. So what you think about Big John? He's older than Mayday. What you think about him? I guess they was bred with a hound dog too, you know. But let's just go to his offspring. Wait a minute. All right. First dog we go to is Natural Born's Blondie too. Oh man, we talking about dogs from the 90s. We talking about dogs from the 90s. I mean, is there Fletcher in the doghouse? Where do we lose anything from? Anybody, who when we conversating about losing something and the dogs that I got now compared to the dogs then. When we talking about losing actual look wise, that's all we talking about look wise. 90s dog, you see Mellow Yellow, you see Fletcher, you see Mango, you see all them dogs every day. Molly, you see them dogs. That's the color they is. Now let's go to other ones. Because you only got certain dogs up here. Now, like I said before, I had a dog off of this dog right here, which is Bud. I had one called Little Bud. Well, I didn't have it. One of my friends had it. Little Bud, buckskin red nose dog. But that had a little tombstone bolio in the bottom as well. Cyclone, buckskin black mass. Red John. I had a puppy off this dog. I had a puppy off Red John, bred back to CP, if I'm not mistaken. And Red John is off Big John and CP. So Red John bred back to his daughter is the puppy I had. Orange puppy, orange red nose puppy. This was in the 90s. Trying to find dogs with pictures so we can get on the same eye level. A lot of y'all boys ain't never even seen the dogs. Buckskin black mass. What does a yellow dog look like? If I just showed you that picture and didn't have any pedigree with it, could you tell me that was a yellow dog, or would you say it's a Jeep dog or an Eli dog? How would you look at him and say he's a yellow dog? But that dog, they got he got a different bottom. Let me go to the second page. Okay, this is another old school dog. Another old school dog, Cullen Sunny Bull, or Red Bull rather. All right, old school. Where did we drift off? Where did we drift off? And we not looking. We looking different. You know. So that's why I say we can't speak off emotions if our emotions aren't correct. And we can't get in our feelings because we don't have the time in with the line you running to where you can conversate on that level. Some conversations aren't meant to be in when it comes to certain things, you know. And like I said, we're gonna keep going down and checking the offspring. No one I'm gonna go to real quick in the first. That's brown, black nose. Got that still. Brown, black nose. Can you look at these dogs and tell they're yellow dogs? And like I keep, and brothers don't listen. Them dogs got a high level of Jocko in them, high level of that Mayfield stuff, or the Chavis stuff, whichever way you want to call it. That's why I say know your dogs. When I say, oh, them dogs, what makes them unique, they got apples, Argo, and Jocko in one pedigree. You know, apples or Pearl, whichever one. Three dogs from the same litter in the Jocko breedings, which all Jocko, Red Boy Jocko strains of Red Boy Jocko don't have the Argo in them. And that's coming down off the Brandywine dog. The Brandywine dog. Now, I wasn't around when the Argo dog, I wasn't, dealing with them line of dogs when the Argo dog was around. But doing my research, I know about the dogs. I was dealing with the crossroads stuff, back in them days. Or not necessarily, in the days of Argo them, but um, a little more modern time when you start getting into your 90s era. I'm trying to find some pictures here, man, so you can just compare and contrast the old dogs with the more modern dogs. Now I had this dog right here. I had on my yard. I bred her the champion Little Country, and I believe she got sick. I don't know if I don't think I told y'all when I used that sperm extender that I had ordered from a website, and I didn't know how to use it, and I had no business really using it, and I basically made her sick, you know, and she ain't have no puppies. But I had this dog. This is a great bitch, and right now I'm just looking for pictures, man. See anybody uploaded any pictures? There go another one. Brown black mass. I asked brothers, have you ever seen Yellow John? Have you ever seen Split Ears, Rattler? Have you ever seen many of the other buckskin, red nose, Big John dogs? You haven't seen none of them. But at the end of the day, that's not for me to knock you, but that's for me to tell you you can't knock what I'm doing. Now let's go to Little John. See if we can find more pictures with him up. There's no pictures up here. So if you want, if you didn't see these dogs, there's no way for you to really understand. That's why I be trying to tell brothers, man. We can't get in our feelings because somebody giving a story. That's the whole point of the whole deal. Somebody, hearing it from somebody that was there, or hearing it from somebody that been around the dogs. And like I said before, understand and know the difference between being colorblind and being not wanting to be a follower, not wanting to drift off the path or your path, or you feeling like you got what you need to control the car that you in. You know, that's all it is, man. You don't go over there and ask Mr. Boudreaux why he not breeding. Why you not going to the red boy stuff, Mr. Boudreaux? Why you not going to the Jeep stuff, Mr. Boudreaux? Oh, Mr. Boudreaux won't leave the Eli. He won't leave the Eli, but he not colorblind. No, he not colorblind. I'm colorblind because I don't want to lead the line I'm running. Now, one thing I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna dumb myself down, or what I say, because I got time in with the line I'm dealing with, I'm going to say, oh, I can agree with you on certain things when you speaking about only having one dog from a line. You see, I've been in that situation where this is my first dog of this line, or this is my first dog of that line. And when I speak about Red Boy Jocko dogs, that don't mean that's the only dog I ever had. A lot of y'all looking at it from y'all point of view. You know, if I'm telling you I've been touching these dogs from the time I've been 16 on back, you know, which is 30 years. 30 years exactly, you know, right now. That can be verified. Because I called my homeboy up, yo, when he was in class passing out them Crossroad kennel cards, my other homeboy had already bought dogs from Crossroad already, you know, and I wasn't even in the 12th grade yet. And Crossroad had the little cards with the red bulldogs on it, the Pitbulls. But it wasn't the Red Boy Jocko stuff. It was some other lines of dogs he had. You know, like I said before, he was coming down with the stuff from Mr. T from New York City. And this was the 90s. So brothers who know who Mr. T or Mr. T or anything close to that from the 90s, that's where his dogs that came from and the cards he had made. And anybody who knew Crossroad during that time, he had Nico, he had Shaka and all them dogs like that. You know, Nico was the white blind one. And Shaka was the one that was on that long cord that would bite your ass when you running back and forth. Had the ears clipped, the buckskin red nose color dog. But it wasn't off none of the Red Boy stuff. I don't know what it was, you know, but I know it wasn't that line of dogs. Now, like I said, it all comes down in getting your time in with the dog. See, we came up in an era, a lot of brothers, you know, because, you know, you got different eras, but we came up in an era where I'm going to say we had it a little bit better than what y'all got it right now. And I'm going to say it in this way, far as financially wise. You know, we had a chance to see different bloodlines without spending as much money as y'all gonna have to spend today's time. In order to see the lines that we ran through, y'all gonna have to really spend some money in this dog game. And a lot of y'all don't like to spend money in the dog game, so you won't see the lines in the way that the brothers seen them in the 90s and in the 80s and the 70s and all that. You know, we didn't have to spend thousands and thousands on dogs. You know, and what we didn't like, we moved on to the next. What we didn't like, we moved on to the next. You know, that's why it was common to hear brothers say, oh, he's not really a breeder. He was more of a box man. He was more of a winner, a dude who can take them dogs and win with them, but he wasn't necessarily a breeder because a lot of brothers was focused on winning, you know, back then. But for the most part, man, we know we was talking about name five pure families of dogs in modern day time. Because Don Mayfield was talking about you want to take your purest family and breed them to your proven family. You know, so I say, what's the top 5 proven families modern day time? What's the top 5 purest families modern day time? And that's what the whole conversation started off from that we was speaking about. You know, and then from there, you know, because I said Boudreaux is one of the top 5. I consider the top 5 purest families. You know, I also say Big John is what I consider a top 5 purest family. You know, Bailey's Bingo, the Red Boy stuff. Not Red Boy himself, but Bailey's Bingo. You know, I would consider one of the top 5 purest lines that can be found, or families of dogs that can be found in modern day time. So we was going back and forth on that. And somehow or another, brothers went from y'all giving me y'all opinion on 5 pure families to they want to knock the families that I'm talking about. So when you start trying to knock the Big John stuff, it automatically made me jump to the Boudreaux stuff, saying y'all got problems from the rip when y'all ain't started off where y'all supposed to start off from the rip. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that Red Boy Jocko, only thing that can't be validated is the Red Boy himself. You know, it's more than one dog that can't be validated in that Boudreaux stuff. You know, and at the end of the day, all the Boudreaux dogs, none of them producing like Red Boy did. You know, so him not being validated, it's all right. You know, because look at the production that came down off of him compared to Eli. You know, and it wouldn't have to get to none of that stuff if brothers would have just listened to what we was talking about. You give 5 names of pure families that you can say is pure families if you wanted to breed them to a proven family. Not Eli, but dogs off of Eli, a proven family off Eli. Eli's too far back to say he don't got no families off of him. You know, yeah, if Eli would have bred in 2023, 2024 maybe, and just got a first litter, you can't say certain things maybe. But then, you know, like I said, how many dogs does it take to make a family? You know, y'all can't keep bringing these dog brothers up because they old and because they've been in the dog game before us when they made a lot of flaws in their dog program, and then when they get called out, y'all get in y'all feelings as dog historians. But you can't be a dog historian and then when we talking about the Big John dogs and you never seen a Big John dog, but yet we talking about Eli dogs, y'all can't give me the families of the Eli dogs. You know, you got Red Boy Jocko brothers that's helping y'all give y'all families of Eli dogs, when I can straight up shoot you off families of Red Boy Jocko dogs right now. You know, I also say STP Buck, you know, is he one of the top 5 purest families in modern day time? Or, you know, and like I said, you got your 5 proven families. And we just building off of the conversation that Mayfield was speaking about. And from that, we went to, you know, my dogs either don't look like yellow or either, you know, they don't look like Big John dogs. Now, like I said before, over 75% of y'all that speak about that Big John stuff never seen Big John dogs outside of the ones that's coming down off Buddy and maybe Quick. You know, and that's the ones that be doing all the talking. The other brothers, you know, they got Big John dogs or they dealt with them. They know what they look like. They know how they coming. You know, and if you dealt with them, you know, I can understand that. You got brothers like Going Hard that took his dog when he bred off the Mayday stuff and brought it over to breed to the Little John dog. See, he knew how them dogs was looking back in the days. You got I always say, you pretty much got all the colors in that line except for your dark colors. You know, and you probably had your dark brindle colors back in the days. But you don't got no black until you made your Paladin Frisco cross in more modern day time. You know, but you don't got no black. You even had white coming down off, you know, off breeding, I guess breeding tight, and certain dogs just come out like that. But it wasn't a main base color. But we can't make these statements of emotion because we don't have certain knowledge about the lines that you may be speaking about. And the thing is, I can't help because a brother don't want to stand up for his line and speak high on his line. I'm only speaking about the dogs that I got. I didn't say your dog's not nothing. I'm speaking high on the dogs that I got. Not necessarily I got, but the family of dogs that I'm running. You know, that's all. I didn't knock the dogs you got, but you take it as a knock, or a brother may take it as a knock because you don't want to talk up for your dog. I can't help. Like they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. You know, I can't help you don't want to talk about your dogs, or maybe you don't know about them. And like I said before, contrary to a lot of brothers' opinions, I dealt with a lot of lines, pretty much every line that's out. When it comes to lines, some families I haven't had, you know, I done had them all, from Boyle's dogs, the Red Boy Jocko, Jeep, Eli, Rascal, whatever you call it out, I done had it. I had curves, I had great dogs, I had mediocre dogs. Done had it. And to that brother who got down in my comments talking about my dog is a cur, he ain't a winner. You see, my brothers and sisters, this is the part of the show where we make examples out of the flunkies. You damn right my dog ain't a winner. He'll never be a winner. I don't want him to be a winner. I don't want him. He's not here for none of that type of whatever you want him to be for. So at the end of the day, like I keep telling y'all, I don't know who sent you, but go back where you came from and tell them we don't get down like that over here. You know, we don't get down like that over here. We take care of our animals, you know, and we stand up for what's right with our animals. We don't care about none of that talk or whatever y'all got whatever y'all got going on. Like I said before, half of y'all not getting the dogs that you making comments about, you know. If you got to go to 3 or 4 other people to get them and you making comments about them, man, listen here, like I said, you can't afford them. You can't afford to keep up on them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like I said, you got dog pound dogs. You know, so keep doing what you're doing with that dog pound shit while these brothers out here got the real Eli, the real Bolio, the real Epinit, the real Booze and Barks, the real all these other Crenshaws, all this other stuff. Why y'all hating? Why y'all stealing? Why y'all fantasizing in Peter Pan land? You know? Like I said, man, just giving it to my brothers the way I always do. You know what I'm saying? One thing I will say, man, I appreciate everybody that rocked with me live last night. AQ, big AQ Henry, big salute to you. I appreciate you rocking with me live. And everybody who's down in the chat, big salute to City Boy for rocking with me live last night. And like I always say, man, everybody's dog opinion is your opinion. You know, there's no right or wrong in some of these questions and conversations that we have in the dog barbershop. You know, it's just whether you want to have the nuts to voice your opinion. You know, I drop links, and them links are for anybody. You know, I'm getting better with it. I gotta let you know when we start getting into heated conversations and stuff. I'm getting better with it. I just gotta fall back and let brothers express their opinion, and then we'll go back and forth with the conversation. But at the end of the day, man, it's all dog talk. It's no need for nobody to literally bash somebody when you just dog talking. You know, you don't have to like what I'm running. I don't have to like what you're running. And another thing we were speaking on, kennel blindness. A lot of brothers sling that word around a little too loosely. And it really don't mean kennel blindness all the time. Like I said before, a lot of people don't got the time in with all the bloodlines as other brothers may have, right? So because a brother make a choice, you know, we from different eras. I like what I like, and it just is what it is. You know, and one thing I told brothers, I like to win. I don't give a damn what competition I'm in. I likes to win. You know, and I like what I like. So because I like what I like, it's kennel blindness. Because I don't like what you like, it's kennel blindness. You see, isn't the purpose of the game is to win? When you're competing in anything, is to win. You know, so like I said, we use that word sometimes because we can't get people to think the way we want them to think. Oh, he kennel blind. But the dogs the dog that brother got and his program is doing him justice. You know what I'm saying? But he kennel blind. Everybody not seeking and looking, like I told brothers before. And the kennel blindness only get tossed around to certain people. You know, we don't expect certain people to go looking for all kind of dogs. They can run their lines. They can run whatever family of dogs they running. But when it comes to other people, I must be searching. I must be looking for the Bolio stuff. I must be looking for this. I gotta be looking for that. Because I'm content with what I'm running. I'm kennel blind. All the old school bulldoggers don't walk around with corduroys on, which you can't see their face and none of that type of stuff, with cowboy hats and sun hats and all kind of stuff that's from the South. You know, every bulldog that give you a story ain't gonna look like that. That's why a lot of people can't accept certain things at the end of the day. And like I said before, none of my bulldoggers gonna fall in the trap that y'all want brothers to fall in the traps of. You know, you want to know who winning. You want to know, go read your sporting dog journals. In fact, figure out who winning. That's what you go do. Go read all that type of stuff and figure out who winning. Not one time when I asked brothers who got the 5 purest families did I say that, oh, this family don't deserve to be there, or that family, brothers saying Frisco or the Maverick and talking different dogs. I didn't say neither one of these families don't deserve to be in the conversation. I'm just asking for everybody's opinions. But because I speak high on the dogs that I know about, which is the yellow and red boy Jocko and some of that Jeep red boy stuff, red boy Jeep stuff I know about, because I speak high on it, brothers, some brothers, you feel some kind of way at the end of the day. And like I said, one brother made a statement about red boy. Now, when we talking about red boy, let's say this right here. A lot of the stuff when it comes to red boy is mysteries, to the people that's out here in the dog game. The only person that's gonna be able to give you that real story, what really happened with red boy, is Mr. Till himself. Mr. Till himself. And maybe if Bass, if he and both of them brothers passed. So when we start coming out here and saying stuff about, oh, red boy got some black brothers that been sold in Dillon or been sold in Florence or been sold in Marion and stuff like that, to make a reason to say why a Rottweiler color dog should be coming off a pure red boy dog. Like I said before, you ain't seen none of them old school bulldoggers produce no Rottweiler color red boy dogs. They got red boy on the top, red boy on the bottom. You ain't seen none of them old school bulldoggers produce none of them other funny colors, them black red boy dogs. The only way you got black red boy if you had that La Posse stuff and different stuff and it bred directly to red boy. And then you may come out with a black dog because you're not red boy top and bottom. You're only 50% red boy. So, don't come with all this made up stuff. And only thing we can assume is from the stories that we done heard about red boy from brothers that been out there. My panel is an open panel. I don't want to hear no red boy stories from a magazine. I want to hear a red boy story from when you was there. Like these brothers say they was there when red boy and Fang and them dogs saw each other. Like them brothers that say they was there and touched red boy or worked red boy. Not a story that you read in the book and then you want to knock what brothers giving you where it's coming from the source at. One of my partners, is married, into the red boy family. Real close, and I can't really say how close because I don't want to, really say who it is, because brothers start trying to figure out who I'm talking about. Real close to the person who owned red boy. This is why I say I can show you, or not necessarily show you, but why I can say I spoke on seeing red boy's old piece of metal treadmill. That was his treadmill out there, on Miss Marlowe's property. I done seen it. But the thing is, it's not for me to knock what you got going on with your dogs. I'm just telling you. And when I give you my story, y'all want to get mad because you didn't do the research on your own line. That way you can get up here, we can go and teach brothers, okay, I'm coming to give this knowledge from the Big John, the Jocko side, coming from the Mayfield dogs, a few of the Burns dogs as well. We can touch on the yellow stuff. We touch up on the yellow stuff coming from Tandem and different things like that as well. If you know the same thing about your Eli dogs, you can get up here and give me the bloodlines and the pedigrees, and we can talk the stories about the Eli dogs. That way, brothers can get this line, a good bit of information. These dogs, good bit of information from these families of Eli dogs. Like I said before, we don't even know which family of Eli dogs is the family to rock with now. We named a few names. The names we named last night, like I said before, it's a damn shame Red Boy Jocko brothers got to get up here and give y'all Eli brothers a few names. It been over 30 minutes we was in that live last night. Y'all Eli brothers, some of y'all now, You didn't even give us no names of families came down off a dog from 50 years ago. You mean to tell me you got Ham? Y'all named a few dogs, and all them dogs was great dogs. I'm not gonna lie. But when a brother asks a simple question like that, you know, you gotta be ready to respond. You know, Red Boy Jocko families, like they said, the Thug and the Thor dog. That's a great modern family of dogs, pure family of dogs. You know, the Big John stuff, the Bingo stuff. You know, you may even have the Tab stuff. And you know, because you got some pure Tab dogs out there, top and bottom, whether they pure Tab or it's a family of Tab dogs, where they bred consistently different ways, but they kept it all in the family. You know? And you got a lot of great families. It's all I ask brothers to give me the info for. You know, that's why I say I appreciate everybody that was participating down in the chat, man. It's all dog talk, man. Everybody gonna represent their line. Everybody gonna represent the dogs that they like. You know, I seen great dogs from all lines. You know, I seen more from more lines because I dealt with more lines for a longer period of times. You know, I don't have to lose for 20 years before I say, I want to switch lines. I don't got to lose for 5 years before I say, oh, man, this ain't working for me. This right here. Let me see what else I can add up in it. You know? I rock the Red Boy Jocko line, but a lot of my success came from Red Boy Jeep. You know, a lot of it came from Red Boy Jeep. And I seen the difference in a lot of how the dogs were doing as well, and how they was bred with the Jeep in it compared to just straight Red Boy Jocko. You know, and like I said, man, we can't a lot of these brothers is no telling what age y'all is when y'all get out in these chats and make these comments and stuff. Y'all brothers, you know, like I said, you steady talking about the dog name Sambo and this and that and this and that and blah. Like I said, man, y'all stuck in y'all way of thinking in y'all small little bubble. You know, that's why you got the dogs you got, them dog pound dogs. You know what I'm saying? Big salute out to my man BKK out there holding down with another family of dogs out there, a great family of modern day dogs. You know, big salute to that brother. It just is what it is, man. It's not that I'm saying, oh, these 5 are better. This is the first 5 I could think of. Now let's go to another 5 of pure family that we could think of. Maybe we'll have 20 families of pure dogs that we can find, and then we can figure out what's what far as breeding wise from there. You know, in our conversation, I mean, you know. That's all it is, man. Get the knowledge in your line before you want to tell me about my line, is what I'm saying. You know, I got the knowledge in my line, so I'm stepping out to your line now. We doing the opposite. You trying to step into my line, but not having the real knowledge of your own line. I got the knowledge of my line, so now I'm going to learn other lines. This line, that line, this line, that line. You know, advancing my knowledge. But I can't advance my knowledge if I don't got the knowledge in what I got on my own program. You know? That's what it's all about, baby. That's what it's all about. Bulldogging and still scratching. Come across that line on 3 legs with your eyeball hanging out. It's a figure of speech to my folk out there who may not understand that talk. That's a figure of speech, man. You know, figure of speech. You know, like I said, though, man, it comes down to back in my days, maybe I say in the 90s, say I may spend $3,000 or $4,000, and you know how many dogs I may have ran through by the time I spent that money? You may get 2 dogs for that price, if not 1 for that price right now. You know? Now, I said dogs. I didn't say puppies. Buy this dog already grown. You know? Cause see, one thing about back then, a lot of brothers was more, especially the dog brothers, welcomed you on the yard more than what brothers would do now, which is expected. You know, it's expected. But at the end of the day, you built up trust with brothers, you built up friendships with brothers, and even if it wasn't all like that, brothers was more worried about getting their dogs out, you know, than trying to kill you or trying to drag you in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? So they was worried about getting their dogs out. As long as they know people knew they had great dogs, you was winning. You know? So brothers had a chance to see more lines, man, and see other stuff. You know, like I said, when I pull up the Mr. Pecan Man house, you know, only brothers around here and in the chitlin circuit I know who I'm speaking about when I keep speaking about him. When I pull up to his house, he was telling me about his champion radar dog. He was telling me about how he was running the alligator stuff before he really started messing with the Red Boy Jocko stuff, you know. So I spoke to brothers who you know, and then we talking about the 90s, man, in the early 90s, you know. Back when you got to load up with your partners and the whole crew ain't got no car, only one person maybe. You got to load up and go ride and go check the dog man out. You know, we talking back in the days, man. You know, it's just, you know, brothers can't get it, you know, a little off track and think somebody trying to down what you got or down your line or nothing like that. It just should tell you to get more info in what you're running, you know. And at the end of the day, like I said, for the most part, you know, the average brother that's doing these channels with the dog stuff, for the most part, everybody is giving you great knowledge from different areas and different points of views. You know, no matter if it's bloodlines, dogs, or whatever it is, they trying to give you some type of knowledge. You have your certain jackasses that you just, like Mayfield said the other night, man, listen, why I'm going to take his advice when he ain't doing it with the damn dogs? You know, and when I say doing it, that don't mean nothing illegal, because we do not condone anything illegal when it comes to these pit bulls. We in a modern day time where you got to do modern day things and survive. In order to do that, you can't do, you know, what they want to be claiming you're doing. But I want to say I appreciate y'all, man, rocking with the Bay. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, PB Corner, Pelican Bay's Corner, where we talk about it, man. We talk about it. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay legal out there. And I'm out.
Now what's this gonna